Good morning. This is Angie Brown, and actually, my presentation is over the attendance tracking for Lakota School District, which is located in the state of Ohio. Every year, my research actually would document the consequences and potential causes and possible solutions for children missing extended periods of school from first through third grade. And although students must be present and engaged to learning, thousands of the country's youngest students are academically at risk. And what I mean by that is that when they're academically at risk, they are not performing at or above their level, which means it's pretty hard when you're embarking on a new career. Nationally, the estimated of 1 in 10 kindergartens in the first grade are chronically absent, and the report recommends that schools, community, and family monitor performance attendance as well as the ability to identify any barriers for good attendance. One of the things that I looked at when I had began to look at the systems was our reporting system to the state of Ohio. We have a reporting system that's called HACC, which is not to be confused with the one that I'm working on. HACC is a home access center, and that is just for homework. The other one is that the system, student information system, which is reported directly to the board, directly to the Ohio Board of Education. And what happens is that the information is reported on the student, whether or not if that student is performing academically well, all of the test scores, as far as the demographics of the student, where they live, if they are on free and reduced lunch, anything of that nature is recorded. Even if a children is coming from another district, those things follow with them. Their grades, everything about it, their history, it all goes. That's also something the attendance is reported every day, which is what we're used to. It usually happens in their homeroom. And what happens is that the children are marked present or not. And so once that's in effect, it goes on to the office, the administrative office, which then files inside of their computer, put that in that child is there. If the absence is excused or not, it doesn't matter if it's excused, it's just that they're not absent, they're absent. The other thing is that then the building principal actually looks at the report and sends that report to the central office, which then their computer talks to the state of Ohio and it sends them there, which is a great system. And it all actually, it really is, what makes it so good is that it's a key requirement for the government to monitor and evaluate the process towards the Millennium Development Goals of education and target all of every child succeed at. So my analyst will cover that it doesn't matter if that child is excused or non-excused. It just means that they're absent. And one of the first things I look at is that, okay, so it goes ahead and it goes to the school, to the teacher is manually, actually, she actually physically puts it in, and then it goes directly to the office. The office then will put it in, and it goes to the building principal. Building principal goes ahead and send it back over to the district office, and then they send it directly to the state. The computers talk to each other very well, and they do an extremely great job on it. The problem that I would like to see, or a concern that I would have, that I would love to see happening, is that because it is early warning signs that are routinely available in data housed in schools that are good predictors of whether or not a student is likely to drop out of school at a very early age. It's usually those kids who have missed 10% of instructional time in their first years of school are more likely to drop out. So if I look at that system, one other piece that I think that would be good, if we would be able to tag that child right away and say, wait a minute, including the teacher, go ahead and put that in the system that they are absent. But then once they miss, 2 or 3 times consecutively, somebody should be reaching out, and a computer system should be able to flag that here's a problem, that we need to really check on this child. So when I look at that, the people in my work systems, my clients, are my educators, are my clients, and my administrators at that particular point, because all of their jobs are being done the way the state wants them to do it. The main activity of this is that the activities, the work processes will ensure that the parents are aware of the child's absence. And as you get older, sometimes there's truancy which would be involved. The building principal would then be able to follow up with the communication before they make the first call for a truant officer and find out what's going on. Those participants are selected individuals from the schools, the building principal, the executive director of attendance. The information will be able to track the student's record, saying, okay, here's their student record. I know we're concerned about their test scores, but what about their attendance record? The technology that will be used for the student information system will integrate with all the state systems and interface to pull up the monthly report of attendance. The other thing is that, which is really good, is that once this happens, educators will be able to document and writing and conveying information. And so today's electric documents files may contain all those other information. But the great thing about it is that we now are able to track those kids who are at risk. And when they're at risk, we can stop and see what happens. The client, as I said before, will consist of my administrators, education, and support staff. Staff should note the attendance record and the reports are required, which is required by the state of Ohio in Chapter 3321, the Ohio statutes, which in part says all officials, teachers, and other employees in public school shall keep a record and shall prepare to submit promptly all reports that may be required by law and rules to the Board of Education and district boards. Such records shall include the register of enrollment, attendance, and all the persons described to make these report may be required by the state of Ohio. Here's the thing, they're already saying that, but nobody's actually flagging that system to say, okay, what is it that we need to do? When this is in violation, obviously, it's not going all the way. The section is not applied to home education, so we can forget that. We can't control kids that are being homeschooled. However, as I said before, the system already tracks it. We just need a way for us to stop and allow the system to ding it again to say, wait a minute, here's a person that needs to really reach out and find out what is going on and why that kid is missing school. Once that the Lakota schools, local schools, has formatted the data and compiled the records, and they submit everything to ODE, which is the Ohio District Board of Education, then we will be able to have another accountability system. So it's being accountable for one reason, but if there's one slight change inside of that work system flow, it would be a good change. So the infrastructure in this would be the network infrastructure is not properly upgraded. And because of that, we're not allowed to put anything new into this. The environment is the help desk is not always available because you have 22 schools in one district and probably a very small IT team. And then the strategies are not fully understanding who's responsible for what to be reported. So if we went back and we made the changes to this workflow system, we'd also have to define whose job is it actually to report what is going on. The work system as a whole, one of the things we'd have to make sure of is security issues and then the wrong information being entered to the wrong student. I think we're concerned about reporting the attendance, but I also think that there should be another part of that work system flow that we should be able to make sure that every child that is enrolled in the district, educators make a daily report of attendance record and expect for the student to be accounted for. And that service providers is each student has a database to the state. Educators are the first line of service, and the support personnel, which are your office people, your paraprofessionals, who would input all the information into the system. That information has to be timely, it has to be accurate, and everyone who has a part of the system must play their part in it. For every participant must practice a line of work associated with the area of expertise for competency and quality of work, and that's Wimbush 2010. So for me not to really be an IT person, I would be the wrong person sending the information over and making sure if there's any glitches in the system. But I could also be that person, or someone could be that person for my competency is to make sure that the information is put into the data system correctly. The other thing, again, when you go back and look at this new system, so the infrastructure has anybody who's involved in whatever part this plays in, they would receive training. And then the environment is the one that's on site. that IT person would have to be able to troubleshoot, and the system will be maintained for growth throughout the whole district. So we're all on the understanding, and as we're changing and growing, and we're on the upswing for growth, that the system is going to have to change. The infrastructure will change, the work systems will change, but everybody's got to be trained who has a part of that. And then how do we keep that information secure? The person who's responsible for the information to the state has got to understand that it is based on confidentiality. And so when you look at the work system, yes, we collect the data and then it's extracted, and then the data originates at the school, number one, and then the local software extracts it again because it sends it on. The SIS goes transferred to the district, to the Ohio Board of Education, and then the maintenance screens are developed by the state software development team. The district has not yet adopted a local student software system to edit and update our student software. So long of the short is, I have all my charts there that you can look at, but my thing is that we're doing a good job. There's just another piece of it, and the piece that I come in is making sure that every child, number one, the state of Ohio, every child has the right to be educated. If they are missing, why? And what can we do as a district to make sure our attendance is up to date? We've done some excellent things, but I'd like to be able to track that. And the only way for me to track it out of 22 schools is to be able that I can honestly look at and see exactly what it's saying. So I'm really excited about this. This is the first time. Yes, it was very hard, but hopefully you all can understand what I was saying. Thank you.